I'm excited today to share about the Youth Impact Challenge. It's a little bit about me. I'm Shitang Shu, and I'm uh, reaching out to you here from the unceded ancestral territories of the Mi'kmaq and Mi'kmaqi, which is colonially known as Halifax, Nova Scotia. It's been a privilege for me being part of the Impact Challenge team for the last couple months, just getting this all going alongside an incredible team. So behind the scenes, we've got Ashley, who does our social media, Bashar, who helps with outreach, especially with organizations, Lori, our executive director, and just an amazing board of amazing cool people who are really passionate at the core of it around helping young people turn their ideas to action. At a bit of a personal level, part of the reason why I've joined YC is I've been through competitions like this, and I know the value of them, especially to meet potential co-founders, to take an idea off the shelf and actually, work on it and have a bit of motivation to get funding that can maybe help turn it, get your idea into a next stage. And a big thing for us is, it isn't just about, hey, you might win a competition and there's a prize at the end. I think something I want to really, I hope that, our participants get out of it is an experience where there's some learning involved, there's networks and connections you make. And yeah, you know what, a bonus if you get some funding, but it's also about everything else around it. And a big thing that I'm personally would really love is, to just help different folks, turn your ideas into something. So something that I'm really excited about is I've a couple of my side hustles is there was a student engagement platform called CARE, that's Kayr, which started in a competition very much like this, and that was our motivation to get a team together, and that turned out to be something that we were able to pilot into university, and we're able to grow and get some funding for and like turn it into something bigger. I've also got a active nonprofit called the Oath Project. Oath stands for One Act at a Time to Help the Earth. OATHE, hashtag Take the Oath. So shout out to my amazing team there. And that also started in a competition very much like this. In that case, like more of like a weekend hackathon. And that organization's gone on to make some like environmental, that's an organization around making a difference to the environment, encouraging folks to be involved in eco-action. And we've gone on to make impact both internationally and nationally. It's an active org with it's been cool to have a team that's been growing. We're kind of developing a platform called EarthNet with another nonprofit called the EarthNet Foundation, and it's been a huge, amazing experience. So what I try to get to there is part of the reason I like competitions like this is it's a motivation to do something and get some really cool things in. Create something that's going to make an impact, create change. So a little bit about specifically around the Youth Impact Challenge here. I'm gonna just do a screen share. So the Youth Impact Challenge, I've shared this a little bit already, but we're about, creating a space and where, as an organization, we're about helping young people turn their ideas into action. As a competition, one of our headline event is our summer competition. And through that competition, we want to create a space where young people can pitch their ideas, put a proposal in. We don't ask maybe too much for that initial proposal, but then maybe go through a journey where, as you go through these different potential stages, you can, maybe get some funding, and turn your ideas into something bigger, get some mentorship and the like as well. So since 2020, we've engaged over 900 plus youth all across Canada, given out 120K plus in prizes to 72 youth-led teams, with 10K as our grand prize. We've done networking events, workshops, and things like that. We've connected young people to world-class mentors. So just some really, really cool things. Just a heads up on that is we might have an innovation corner episode coming up, and that's going to be around, if you're not sure and you're looking for a little bit of inspiration to just jumpstart an idea, it's a space to potentially help you do that. So a little bit about the summer competition and how that works. There's three kind of core rounds to it. So on July 7th, or due July 17, is a 1 to 3 page pitch for org that's looking to make social and or environmental impact. we're going to go through some of the details of what a 1 to 3 page proposal might look like and some of the things you may want to do there. If anyone has applied already, you're certainly welcome to reapply and just edit your previous application. Certainly accommodate that until July 17. Top 40 teams will be awarded $1,000, and the idea there is we've got we want to spread the wealth in many ways. We're fortunate to have some amazing funders, specifically Renewal Funds, Invest Eco, which are our founding organizations. And they're both environment-centered investment organizations. We also have Van City, which is a credit union based out of Vancouver, which does incredible work and funds a number of community projects that support us. Accenture, who have also provided us funding, and they're kind of a professional services firm that does a ton of amazing work as well for community. Horizon Capital Holdings, Finance Montreal, as who have also supported us with funding, and folks like Finance Montreal who are helping with networking and helping us connect with mentors and the like as well. So we're very fortunate to have just an amazing network of great organizations supporting us. Competition timelines. So June 27, we open our applications. July 17 is when the round 1 applications are due. We may also explore that a little bit depending on interest levels in terms of seeing how, there may be extensions they like, but although we can't say that for sure. July 17 is what we are going by right now. So that's going to be the likely application deadline. So apply for that. July 26th is when we're going to announce our round 1 winners, approximately 9 days or so after that first round. On the schedule, August 11th for our round 2. And this round 2 is where we ask for a 5-minute video pitch. And we're going to have some more guidance around that when the time comes. We'll probably do a similar workshop where it's more specific around the video pitch for people who make it to that stage. And then we're going to have a grand finals. The grand finals is a live event where the top 10 teams get selected to share their ideas. We have 2 streams, the environmental stream and a social stream. And so the idea there is, we have up to 2 grand prizes for each of the streams. A little bit, again, depending on interest levels and the like. But yeah, so we're really excited. There's going to be $75K plus in funding are giving out to 40 plus teams. I encourage people to also share the word and get the word out across to your various networks. In terms of, I'll go through a little bit about the application process, especially for the 1 to 3 page thing. And first of all, eligibility. So there's kind of 4 core eligibility criteria. We ask for teams of 3 to plus founders between the ages of 16 to 25. Now one thing here is we've had a couple people reach out and say that, hey, you know what if I'm 15 but I'm turning 16 this year, or what if I was 25 this year but I'm turning 26. So there's a little bit of gray area, and basically as long as you are either you're going to be 16 within this year, or you have been 25 at some point this year, you're welcome to attend. But again, the idea there is we are kind of focusing in more on that younger demographic of innovators. Folks based in Canada, international students are welcome, and this is a big thing. As long as you have some connection to Canada, whether it could also be that even if you're not living here, you're connected with a Canadian institution and you're doing classes in a Canadian school, and that's fine. So the big thing is that you're based in Canada. A question sometimes we've gotten is, hey, what if I have a teammate from another country or something like that? And kind of in that scenario, they might not be an applicant on the application itself. You might have a 4th teammate based out of the US or something like that, and that's fine. But the applicants have to be, based in Canada, teams 3 plus, age 16 to 25. Ideas that have not received more than $5,000. If you have received $5,000, you're fine. If you've, and sometimes there's a little bit of gray area as well there, and we ask people to reach out to us if you're a little bit unsure about whether you meet the criteria exactly. And the idea here is we know that our funders want to support especially those earlier stage ideas which are just growing, which they might not even be out in the, we're not looking for necessarily even for ideas that are out in the market or like fully developed yet. We're looking for things that, people have, they have something in their head. They're trying to get it to that next stage. You just want to put it out there to the world, and maybe this is a chance that we can help grow it. So we aren't looking for established ideas, and this is one kind of the core thing there. So, if you are someone who's won a whole bunch of entrepreneurial competitions, above $5,000 in funding, then we still want you to be involved, and maybe it's more as a mentor or something along those lines versus as a competitor. And I think the biggest thing for us is you're looking to make impact. And one thing I really like about YC is your idea doesn't have to be a for-profit idea or a nonprofit idea. It can be like really anything in between. If you look at some of our past winners, we've had, in terms of like, one of our winners was looking at technologies, that were helping with translating sign language for people with hearing loss. We've had winners who are creating more battery technologies. We've had winners who are more, trying to find ways to allow for more sustainable produce. So we've had winners of a whole different variety, and among our 40 plus the teams, ideas that are certainly welcome are things like, hey, you know what, I want to have a community garden in my city. I want to develop a mobile app that's looking to work with indigenous populations. I'm looking to create a sustainable clothing system. I'm looking to create a social media campaign. Maybe it's, we had a proposal that did well in the past, where it was more around, we want to create like a kind of a march, and it's similar to the climate marches. So like there's a lot of ideas that can be put out there. What I want to really highlight is not like you need to create like a super concrete like business or anything like that. The big thing is that you have an idea that's going to make impact. Impact in many ways is the big thing that we are evaluating. And at the same time, you've got a plan for how you might implement that idea as well. Something else I'm going to highlight in the application page, because we've had the question come up a few times, is underneath the application template. If you want to see the questions in advance, you're welcome to have a look at it. I won't go through, like, this like lays out all the different options, but the core of it is we're going to ask, there's some questions around like things like who's on your team, contact info, demographics, stuff like that. But the big thing is the creating a proposal that's 1 to 3 pages. I want to really emphasize 3 pages is the limit. It can be something that you can communicate something very effectively in 1 page. So if you're able to do that, kudos to you. You don't have to take up 3 pages. And I'll share with you folks a little bit of a guide of what those 3-page proposal might look like. With this particular guide, I've shared in the Slack channel, and folks who are on the Slack channel have seen this first. So kudos to you folks for joining that. And and I'll go through a little bit about what's involved there. High level before we even begin, we want to note that you've essentially got 3 pages as a blank canvas to express yourself. And there's many ways you can use that space. You can bring in graphics, you can bring in text, you can bring in stats if you want. It could be that you've got a slideshow, you got 6 slides that you've got like squeezed into 3 pages, or something like that. There's many ways to communicate your idea. And the big thing for us is maybe highlighting that there isn't going to be like one right way to in terms of how you share your idea here, and that's very intentional too, because we know that for some people writing is really easy, and they can, like someone like myself, I can write 3 pages really well, but like for other people, they communicate more through graphics, and there's many ways to express yourself, and so use those 3 pages as you think you need it. But here are some, especially in terms of content and reflecting our rubric. Here's some of the things that you really want to highlight. One thing on note on the rubric is we haven't in the past shared our rubric publicly. We are talking about whether we may do that this time around, and it's something where we're just we're just connecting as a team to see what the best route there might be. But what the guidelines here are very much like they very much align with the rubric. So okay, so here's some of the key things you want to get across. So what's your overall project idea in particular? What's the problem you want to solve, and why does it matter? That's really important, right? Because you might have a really you might have a problem which seems really important, but you're not able. But it's important for you to communicate why it actually makes a difference. Here, you know what? Feel free to bring in personal experiences. If there's something I found that having lived experience through something can be an amazing motivator for developing an idea. So if you've gone through a lived experience, talk about that. If you have some statistics and you've done some research around, hey, here's why the problem which I'm telling you is something that matters to me and might should matter to you, and here I'm communicating that through through this research I've done. And so, for example, if you share like articles or statistics from Google, those are examples of what they often call secondary research. And so you're looking at what other folks have said around this problem, and you're communicating that. Even more powerful if you have what people will sometimes call primary research, which is that's even better. So what does that mean? So that's like where you've talked to someone, you're looking to help immigrants, and you've actually talked to newcomers, and you've made an effort to actually bring in their experiences, and maybe there's a quote in there where you're highlighting something that you've heard. I remember one of the most powerful proposals that I read was where they shared a story of them working with indigenous populations around challenges that elders were having having their language be communicated in future generations. And so that was something where they shared, like, we talk to real people, and these are real, and that's why there's a power in that, right? So whether it's through statistics or through like sharing it with real people, or sharing like stories with real people, or through your own personal experience, there's many ways you can share your problem. But think about how you're going to frame the problem, and the big thing is now being able to share that to the audience and to judges who might not be subject matter experts in what you're working on in a clear way. Also, what's your solution to your problem? And here, I think something that I often have found, I've been on the other side sometimes of judging or being a mentor in competitions like this. Think about ensuring that the solution that you may have is clear, right? Because sometimes there might be super tech, like you might be having the fanciest engineering solution ever, and you're bringing on these various different concepts. But if you're not able to communicate that, that can be difficult. And so something that you need to think about is, even for a judge who might not be a specialist in your specific area, how do you communicate a proposed solution? It doesn't actually uniquely solve the problem. So this is where you talk about a problem solution fit. Sometimes you might have a solution which is really interesting as like really, really cool technology, but it's not actually making a difference in the problem itself. So ensuring that, you're connecting that you've got a really engaging problem, you've got a cool solution that you're connecting it to, and telling it why it matters, or how it addresses that solution. And like something good to note here, that you'll be most successful if you demonstrate a deep understanding of your issue. And so this is where something that will make you stand out is if you've done some research, if you've talked to people, if you've done something to actually make to show that you've really invested in terms of learning about the issue you're trying to address, that really can be very powerful. And then the challenge sometimes is you want to do all this, there might be some work there, but then you want to be able to communicate this in a creative way. So being able to share that project, and you can see like there's many potential sections in there. You want to also share, again, it could be its own section here, how is your project making environmental or social impact? What is the impact of your project? Why is it important? what is the scale and scope of that impact? And here, it connects with the overall project, some of the things in the overall project idea section as well, in terms of being able to articulate your problem, being able to really share up your solution, whatever that might be, and really share how your solution has this potential to make a difference in the world, right? So like, over 90% of recycling doesn't actually, or of things that people put in recycling doesn't get recycled. And so like that's a very powerful stat. And then if we can show that, through the innovation I'm creating, there's a chance to get that number down. And if you can demonstrate, how you can share to the judges, how your potential solution could get that number down, and that can be very powerful. The thing too about how I might measure that impact as well. There's something that maybe current market isn't necessarily. I might actually change this to current need. But something to think about as well is, what are the other organizations that are looking for solutions to your problem? And this is where, are there other folks who've tried to address the problem you're trying to address, and what have they done? And the fact that someone's trying to address your problem isn't a bad thing. It could actually be an opportunity for partnerships. It could be something where, there's a lot of our proposals that have done well are ones that are very local. One of our winners last year, they created a concept that was around servicing the network in Vancouver. And so it could be like a very local idea, and that can be very powerful. And so like thinking about, how you're going to really make a difference there. When you talk about a plan of implementation, this is where, we want to see that you've thought about not just you have an idea, but how you're going to like develop that idea, right? So what are the stages that are involved in your plan? Can you identify the barriers that might be involved in terms of making it happen? And if you can demonstrate a comprehensive strategy where you've considered a few different things, and that's very valuable. If you happen to have tried your actual idea and you're like building it actively and you've gone through some challenges, maybe talk through that, because those are, maybe your plan has changed. You don't necessarily need to have like part of the idea with our competition is because we're looking at early stage. It might be that, you have an idea for an app versus the built out app, and that's fine. But if you happen to be building out your app and you're encountering different challenges, then talk about that and then talk about how that's impacting your plan. Finally, the team is so critical. And so, who's on your team? Why do they have the skills that are well suited? Have you tried to ensure that you've got a balance where you're looking at different skill sets? You might have, maybe your team is a mix of, there's a marketer in there, there's someone who's more on developing your research side of things. So there's many different, and depending on the idea, you might have different skill sets you need. So like, does your team have some of the right mix of skills, and why is your team the right team? Like for example, here you can especially highlight, if you have people who have gone through a lived experience, or they've got like very direct maybe work experience that's related to this, or they do have an education where that's connecting with what they're doing, or they have a particular passion for the problem because of this reason, then those are all very, very powerful things. And I guess as a final note here before I open it up to questions, and we won't record the question and answer session, but more feel free to, if you're watching a recording, just ask the questions over the chat, or we can potentially even connect individually around some of specific questions. A tip I'll have is, it is 1 to 3 pages. You can articulate your idea very well in a short space. And a big thing I'll highlight is it's very valuable to think about the story behind your idea. So I find that the most powerful proposals will, it's not just like giving a whole whack of facts, but actually being able to tell those facts in a really compelling way, or show them, right? And this is where, maybe for you, it's more using graphics and the like as well. I want to highlight too that, we're here to try and support, especially if folks are at an earlier stage and they're like just looking to figure out how to get started. But yeah, share there's many ways to tell a good story, and figure out what the right way is for your story. And I just want to say I'm really excited to read all your proposals, and I think there's going to be some really cool ones. It's just one of the things that really keeps me going is just even reading what some of our previous submissions, and just seeing the amazing ideas and energy of young people. So I'm really excited to learn more. Thank you, folks. And I will move to questions then and stop sharing and recording.